Hey everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to get any work accomplished outside. We're still digging out of the snow and ice Mageddon of 2026 here in North Carolina. Walk in the park for most of you, bright summer day, but it crippled us for the most part for about 2 weeks now. Usually our ground temperatures aren't cold enough to allow any kind of system that makes it across our mountains to dump very much accumulation. It melts before it starts accumulating because the system's just weakened hitting our mountains. But due to the fact we had 3, 4, 5 inches of sleet and ice the weekend before, and then below freezing temperatures all week, single digits, and then this big system that came up from the coast, if you will, it dumped 12 inches here at the farm, and just southeast of me was upwards of 16, and down around the coast where we go, actually the towns we were in got hit hardest, or where we go got hit the hardest. I'll get it out in a minute. I think it was a place down there close around 22 inches of snow, so it's definitely crippling from North Carolina. But anyway, enough about the weather. I'll throw a clip in here right now where I was pouting behind the window, going from the back window to the front window, watching it snow. Nothing like a lot of you guys get, but it's been pretty rough on North Carolina for back-to-back storm systems. We had ice and sleet last weekend, and then all snow. They're calling for, I think, 3 to 5 inches. It's beautiful. So we've experienced our first snow and sleet storm here at the farm. Everything's glistening white. Wife loves it. I think she talked this storm up. There it is, beautiful. Didn't even have to go to the mountains this time.
I've been doing my snow dance.
Yeah, she's been doing her snow dance, that's for sure. One day I'll have a heated shop and we won't have to worry about that. I'll just put my bibs on and walk on out to the shop. Speaking of that, we got the Bobcat in here. I told my buddy for the use of the machine and all of the work he's done here, I had to do something. He wouldn't take any money. So we talked about this roller. It's got a little bit of play in some of them. It's got a weird vibration on harder ground. So we discussed it. He bought those and I told him I wanted to do the work for it. We still got to, service it, clean it up, do all that. We still got to finish setting the poles too. This weather's put us behind on that. But I got it jacked up and ready here in the shop. I'll spin you around, show you what we're up against, and see if we can get this track roller, idlers, whatever you want to call them, in and installed today. Alright, so I got 2 6-ton jack stands with a jack under the back. I've got it up off the ground about 4 or 5 inches there. And then I've got 4 6x6 oak cribbing blocks that we've got cut to use around different places. And so I'm going to try to get the dirt cleaned off, get the grease out of the track, and then loosen it up and see if I can just manhandle the track off and then maybe roll it back to the back, get the rollers on, roll it back up and put it on. Most of the time we use machines, or I have, but with these narrower tracks that I'm used to working with, I think they'll be a whole lot easier to get on and off. So the rollers we're replacing are here. The bottom ones are good, all the bearings are tight. These don't have much play in it, but since we're doing it, we're going to go ahead and get those done. We can change the sprocket pretty easy, which it does have some wear on it. But the front ones are the main thing. I'll try to get a video of that in a minute, hoping that we don't run into anything with the main frame and it's just the slop in the roller and the pads that they slide on. But we'll see. There's the goodies. We'll open those up here in a minute, so we'll quit babbling and get started. Alright, so there it is. I'm just going to let it bleed off slow. You just take the top bleeder off. It's just like in a brake caliper or a wheel cylinder. And I'm sure you can take it all the way out and let it go a little bit faster, but we're just going to let it pile up there and get it out as it goes. And then you can see the tracks dropping down, so it should be enough for me to get everything off. If I need to, I'll take it, come along and hook it and compress it even more, but I think we'll be okay there. So let's go around the other side and get that started and make some grease piles, I guess. Well, that worked out pretty good. I ended up pulling the bleeder completely out. I'll show you that in a minute. I didn't have to use the come along. I just took a pry bar in the front and pried against the track and used the track as a push mechanism. Got it all out and cleaned up. Here's the bleeder. It looks just like a bleeder in a caliper, like I said, or a wheel cylinder. So once I pulled it out, because you're shooting it through those little holes versus the whole thing. So anyway, I think I'm gonna put you on some high speed because it'll probably take me a while to manhandle this off. We'll get the tracks off, hopefully rolled out of the way, and then we'll see how bad the front ones are, what I was talking about in that main frame, and then unbox the goodies. appreciate the diligence for shipping. Work. Alright, let me get it carried down here to the other one and see what we got. Alright, there's the side by side. It's almost a 1/2 inch taller, so about a 1/4 inch all the way around. Wear on the roller itself. About 3/16, not quite a 1/4 on the width. And then of course you can see the wear plates, like I said. The new surface versus the old one, so definitely needed them. I mean, like I said, the bearings are pretty tight in there. These bearings may not last as long, I don't know, but that's what we're gonna do. And like I said, the back one, it seems to be pretty tight. I'll get the new one out and do some measurements. I'm sure if the front one's got that much wear on it, this one does too. So you know, like I said, we can change the sprocket later on once I get closer to new tracks. But bottom rollers are good, so we'll continue on, bring you back, and try to stick these back on, and then we'll probably say that's a wrap, and I'll do the other side off camera. Alright, we're on the back ones now. Haven't done anything with the front ones. I'll explain a little bit here in a minute. Just pull the 2 bolts out, which I've already done, and this just slides out. Of course, it never slides out good when the camera's on. Full of mud. Sorry, that's probably loud on your ears. Lord have mercy, I'm too old for this. I measured the other one, the other side, and it's got about 1 inch of wear on it. So the best I can measure, about 11 1/4, 11 1/4 on the new one, and the old one is not quite, really more like 10 1/8, so a little over 1 inch of wear. Oh, sorry guys, this camera froze up again, being as cold as it is. But anyway, 2 bolts, it just slides right out. I'll show you in a second on the old one. It's got basically a square slot it slides in, so it holds it. 2 bolts, and that's all there is to it. It's got about over 1 inch of wear on it. The bearing is still good in it, but the idler itself is about 1 inch shorter, so you know, 1/2 inch around, which caused a little bit of a problem up front up here. I'll show you that, and I might just call this one good because I'm going to have to do some more extensive repair on the front. Alright, so I'll show you this is one of the front idlers, and that's got a huge wear spot in it. Same thing on this side, and there's a reason for that. This one's a little worse than the other side because of the, like I was saying, the drive sprocket is, sorry, I didn't mean to move so fast, is wore, but it kind of got into the side, the pin there. That side even more wore it, so that's definitely where the noise was. I'll go up here and show you if you can see it. You know, that sun, you can probably see some of the stuff pretty good. Let's see, I think it's this side. The camera doesn't do it justice, of course, but that's a pretty good divot there, if you will. So we're just going to go in there, and I'm going to put a 1/8 inch wear plate all the way down. That'll get it about as tight as you really want it. If I go any more, it's going to be too tight. So this side, it got out. I can't keep this thing from going dead. The battery's in the middle of it. But anyway, this one's got as deep as the other side, and plus it got out here closer to the end, and actually kind of got this bent down. So I still got pretty good meat up here. So like I said, we're going to scab the 1/8 inch all the way back on both sides, and that'll take up plenty of it. I mean, if it was a, you know, less than 1,000-hour machine and something like this had gone haywire, we'd do something drastic. But with the hours that are on it, I think that'll get by the lifetime of what we need to do there. So I think we'll just end up probably doing another video on that. Gotta cut those pieces. I'm gonna use my buddy's plasma cutter, and we'll bring those back and weld them. Oh, here's that roller I was talking about, how it's got the square side to it, so you just slide that right in, put your bolt in it. So like I said, these are wore quite a bit, and it's wore on one side worse than the other. So we've got another issue that I've got to address with the track and talk to a buddy about it and see. So we might divulge a little bit more of that on the next one. So all right, well, I think I'll just do this as part 1 and part 2 of the track roller replacement. We'll get the welding of those plates in on the main frame, and talk to my buddy and see what he wants to do about the sprockets. If he wants to go and replace those or wait. The tracks have good tread on them, but they're chewed up quite a bit due to the kind of work that they do on the side with it. So I don't know, we may just wait and put those on when we do new tracks later on. But like I said, it's definitely going to change the area of the wear in the main frame once we get the front roller and the rear roller in, because it's going to you're going to have to suck them in further, so it's not going to set at the same position it was. So I was just going to put a small plate in there, but I think I'm going to end up scabbing the whole thing. Might be a little tight towards the back, but the tighter the better. So we'll go with that. But hopefully enjoyed it. Another videos are kind of sporadic here or there. We're just trying to do the best we can with the weather we've got. I hope to get back on the lean-to soon, because as y'all know, spring's right around the corner, and we're going to be back in the fields hopefully. With this much snow and everything laying on it, it's going to be a while. But anyway, stay tuned for the next one, guys. Thank you for everything. Really appreciate you following the journey with me. If you're interested in merchandise, hats, shirts, decals, koozies, you name it, go check out farmmerchbin.com. I'll put a link in the description. Allison does amazing work for myself and other channels here on YouTube. Tell them Nelson IP Farm sent you, and we'll see what happens over the next couple days. Until then, thank you.